I know that the sequence isn't an infinite combo, but it certainly feels like it. I mean, how could I even play the game if I can't even block? Like, I know I can block resets, but I can't, so what? Am I supposed to memorize every character's moveset before I can even play the game? So, your defense sucks. You probably learned your first Skullgirls combo, but you never had the opportunity to use it, since you die after losing neutral once, and then you get pressured to death. If you're new, you're probably wondering how anyone can defense anything in this game.
What kind of place is this?
Well, the simple answer is, they don't. At least, not in the sense that they can block everything perfectly over 50% of the time versus an equally skilled player. This game is designed around mix-ups and not being able to block them. There are great videos of defense, like the Kill Sage's land cancel video, the advanced push block tutorial, Ziad's defense video, and others, but these take a while to get used to, and they take a while to implement, and they kind of assume you know what to look for and why you would want to do something. They also make a crucial assumption, that you blocked correctly. Definitely check out those videos, but let's go simpler than that. I mean, the problem is you can't even block in the first place. So the real question is, how do I even know I need to defend if I don't know where I gotta do it? Before I continue, let me explain one thing. The best way to defend against a reset is to not be there in the first place. Resets are offensive pressure that are a reward for winning neutral that you have to guess in, and it's almost always in the attacker's favor. Even top level players will fall for simple resets because everybody guesses wrong sometimes. But the important thing is that you recognize them and demonstrate that you do. And I use the word demonstrate here because if you want to make someone stop doing something to you, you need to show them that it won't work. So here's the thing. There's a lovely concept in fighting games I like to call, why the heck should I? Why the heck should I sit here and beat your mix? People out here are greedy as hell! They can play the game, force them to attack to you. Layer 1 isn't gonna work on you, nuh-uh. And now you gotta make them start burst baiting, and now they're saying, why the heck shouldn't I? And then you figure out how to have that mental conversation in your set. And that's the beauty of fighting games. Let's stick to layer 1 though. Anyways, here are some common reset points that you'll run into in Skullgirls and how to deal with them without a DP assist. Because if you have a DP assist, you can just block and call DP. Or you can just cheat and alpha counter and DP. So the first example is a restand. Basically a setup that forces you to stand. Here are some wise words from the Kill Sage.
Restands in this game are broken because it basically forces the character to take every possible mix-up in the game.
Yeah, so it could be a restand, or it could be you being forced to block because of a lockdown assist. Either way, you're probably minus in standing, and you have to deal with the mix. So, here's Philia, the premier mix-up character. Doing a high, low, left, right, throw, and burst fade. Literal evil. Now guess. Pause the video and guess what she'll do. If you guessed right, then you got lucky. Or, the Philia is really predictable. But wait, here's the thing that no one tells you. Or rather, the opposite of what people usually tell beginners. You're supposed to just block and wait until you figure out what's going on. That's it, right? Surely at some point, they'll end up minus, and you can take your turn back.
I bet you he won't come over here and disrespect like that again. Wrong. Wrong.
That's propaganda from the rest of the FGC. This is Skullgirls. Sure, you need a block, but once you know what's happening to you, you need to proactively take your turn back. Otherwise, they'll go straight into another mix and open you up. Mashing is good, so instead of eating this mix, you're now forcing the attacker to guess whether or not they have to defend. I'm gonna expose your ops out here. The people who dislike you mashing on them have a conflict of interest, and they want you to let them walk all over you. Every single defensive interaction in a fighting game has key moments where you have to decide. If you never use rock in RPS and only use paper and scissors, then they can just go scissors every time. Once you show them that you know how to mash, you make it turn from a 3 or 4-way mix-up into a 50-50 where you mash or don't mash. The thing they're advising against, if they're doing it in good faith, is mashing randomly. Don't do this. So what is mashing if not rolling your face all over the controller? Actually, mashing, I'd argue, is an elegant art form, where you repeatedly try to press a specific sequence of buttons in order to buffer your reversal as quickly as possible whenever your character is able to act. So there's 2 types of mash, invincible or strike invulnerable reversal mash, and a bar mash. Reversal mash is called that because generally they're immune or resistant to strikes, so not throws. And frame 1, you have that protection with either armor or invincibility, so if there's the tiniest gap in your opponent's offense, whether they dropped their combo or they decided to reset, you can get out. They'll beat most things same side, including highs, lows, and throws, unless you're strike only, which means that you'll lose the throws. If you think they won't cross up, then a reset point is just a chicken game between you and your opponent, on who decides not to press buttons. On the other hand, a bare is an FGC term originating from the Japanese FGC. It basically means that you use a fast normal to beat someone who you think is leaving a large gap in their mix-up. This is typically called a fake mix-up. Mix-ups that are more quote-unquote true tend to be tight, meaning that they have less options to guess, but they can require strict timing to beat with invincible reversal, they're unreactable, and they usually frame trap, so a bar doesn't work. Mix-ups with larger gaps can be mashed out of more easily, so a bar works, and they tend to be reactable, which is why they're called fake. But if you don't mash correctly, then you'll be put in a blender with way more options than 50-50. So the next time you're not sure what to do, but you recognize a reset point, take this advice from the late Charlie Murphy.
Maybe I'm overreacting. I actually went there maybe I shouldn't do nothing, but my ghetto side was going, yo, stomp this motherfucker out right here. The fuck is wrong with him?
I recommend mashing all the time starting out, and then toning it down over time. It's especially funny when it works on someone who doesn't expect it.
아니, 저단식님, 당신 말수 군대 서플 3탄을 왜 쓰는 거지?
Another reset point is an aerial tick throw. Something you'll see a lot is JLP, JLK, air throw. This works because they're plus, so you'll usually be afraid to press something or else you'll get counter hit, but it loses to mash reversal or you can tech it. Closely related but slightly different is the grounded tick throw. Tick throws usually come after a jab or low on the ground, leaving the attacker plus enough to trick you into thinking they'll continue their combo and you'll let your guard down instead of trying to mash. This is also incredibly effective because you can't tech while crouching, so you'll have to press something to get out of it if you don't see it coming. Like the aerial throw, it will lose to a reversal mash or tech. But if you know it's coming, you can also just up back after blocking the first hit or push block the first hit to make them live. Another time to expect resets is on incoming, when one of your characters comes in because one of your characters die or they get snapped. These are pretty universally regarded the nastiest mix-ups in the game, because many characters can get true 50-50 strike mix-up on you. But again, this loses to mash or blocking correctly. If you get too scared to press buttons, they'll probably throw you, since that's guaranteed damage. But if someone's just doing a same side mix on you, you can just reversal to cover air throw as well. These are common reset points that you can mash out of. If I went over every single type of reset, this video would be like 2 hours long. And there's definitely situations where you don't want to mash as the risk reward is not worth it. But next time you see one of these, definitely mash on them and make them think twice. The other general types of resets, there's no clear rules about what to do. You have hard knockdown setups for specific characters that can be safe jumps, and then you have something called, well, I don't actually think there's a name for it, but you can call it an aerial restand, where someone does a setup that leaves them plus enough to hit you right after you finish recovering from hits done. Cross-unders are part of this category, and some can be mashed out of and some can't. You'll need to lab it out. But in general, you should now be able to eyeball general reset points and then from there experiment with mashing. Once they know you know about why the heck should I, you can adapt and mash less. To sum it up as a general rule of thumb. 1. Mash when you think your opponent doesn't think you'll mash. 2. Don't mash when you think your opponent wants you to mash. 3. Block when you aren't sure, and then decide based on the first 2 rules the next time you recognize a reset point. The end. Not. I didn't tell you how to keep mashing even if someone knows it's coming. If you have a team member in the back with a specific type of super, you can save DHC if you have neuter, just by using the input of the next super move. Save DHCs are a cheat code in this game. What is it, Google text-to-speech?
But wait, Senzu, didn't you use cheat pejoratively to describe DP assists earlier in the video?
Well, I definitely used the word, but that's a compliment here. There isn't such a thing as an honest Skullgirls player. Just like how there's no such thing as a game with only honest grounded footsies based gameplay. Anyways, safe DHCs are insane because you can steal your turn back even when you guess wrong. Basically, they force your opponent to block from having blocked you because of how they work. Here's your clueless opponent.
I am going to reset this guy and they won't know what's coming. Okay, I swear to God this guy is a masher. I'm just gonna block and punish. You are a masher.
Thanks for the compliment. I guarantee someone's gonna call you a masher somewhere along the line, but enjoy the salt. Well, what happens if they burst bait you for mashing too much? You can just block, I guess, but that's what they want from you. If you're not using a DP assist, you can also cancel your alpha counter into an invincible reversal if you got one for the right situation. Or you could do some spicy tech to fuck some people's shit up. If you do a negative edge reversal, you can super and punish your burst bait because it doesn't count as pressing a button, it's releasing one. But you better know for sure they'll try to run in and hit you before doing this. So the way you would do it, I'm not like the greatest expert on this, but if you hold the buttons for your super and then you mash your motion and then you let go of the buttons, your super will come out. I would check the wiki for more information. Link below. Anyways, real talk. I'm not saying you should always mash, but I am saying you shouldn't be afraid to mash and that you need to do it more until you find out the right balance for you as a player. And you should definitely consider mashing whenever you recognize a situation where you can. Mashing and the threat of mashing puts you on a more even playing field, so that defense feels less difficult in Skullgirls. You should still block a lot and rotate your options. Just make sure that in the RPS of defense, you don't stop mashing because you think it's a noob tool. Alright, thanks for watching. I'm not gonna mash because... Why did I think I wasn't gonna mash? I'm gonna mash! Hold on. Okay, I did to see what Yellow did done. Okay, so... PBGC, I saw you running in, probably gonna mash Gregor. Yeah, like, what did you think I was gonna do? Not mash Gregor? Okay, so... Oh, that's unfortunate.